Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hello viewers, welcome to my channel All Things Spiritual. I hope you liked my last video. Today we'll discuss how to focus our minds, and please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. How do we focus our minds is actually a very important thing for success in the world and in spiritual life. One thing which scatters our minds is self-interest. If I am in it for myself, and if my idea is that I am in it for this particular person, then always I'll be tensed about what I have gained and what I have lost, and what do I get out of this situation or that situation. Then I'm not relaxed anymore. Selfishness leads to a scattered mind. It can lead to a kind of narrow focus on my own interests, but always you'll be vulnerable and you are open to anxiety and fear and frustration. An unselfish mind is a relaxed mind, so the more you are about doing good to your environment, you work for the family or the community or in general for others, so you are relaxed about yourself, or you are worshipping God in your actions, so you are offering all your actions up to worship of the Lord, and you are not so much what I'll get out of it. So how to get to an unselfish mind? The problem can be solved with spirituality. By this what I mean is, when I close my eyes I find peace within, and when I open my eyes my attitude is what can I do for the opposite person. Here in this world, what I give and what I can do, when I close my eyes there is peace within me. In actuality our problem is just the opposite. When I close my eyes, all sorts of disturbances within and all sorts of thoughts of restlessness within, and when I open my eyes, it's not what I can do for you or what I can get from you. So this is just the opposite of spirituality. This is the worldliness. So unselfishness to an extent that we can be unselfish, to the extent mind can be relaxed and better focused. The focus which comes out of selfishness narrows focus, which leads to unpleasantness and tension and frustration. The opposite of this is the insight of love, which leads to focus. So what I love, my mind automatically is drawn to and easily focused on, without all sorts of techniques. You don't have to do this or that breathing technique, this thing or that thing. It automatically leads to focus. There is, for example, a mother in a house looking after a young child, and because the mother loves the child, all activities are done. She's cleaning, cooking and taking care of the child's homework, getting ready to take the child to school and so on. Of that is being done, and yet the mind is focused on the child and needs the child. So love leads to focus, but the devotion to God leads to focus automatically and easily without effort. What am I thinking of? Where do I put my mind, and how much of my mind do I put on? A method by Patanjali Yoga, that's the method of concentration, where you train your mind to think of one thing and keep excluding everything as you keep bringing back your mind back to that thing again and again. It's basically a function of two things. One is the challenge posed by the environment, and the other is your skill to match that challenge. For example, if you're playing tennis and when you begin to play it, it's a great thing just to return a serve. So all your energies and your concentrations, focus are ready to face the challenge. And if you are able to return the serve, you attain a flow state. And there is something in the point of flow, and it's a match between the challenge by the environment and your skills, and if they are exactly up to the level, then this point of flow is dynamic, which means that after some time, if you keep just returning the serve, it becomes boring because your skill has now exceeded the challenge. So now you need to up the challenge against a good player, so now you can get the flow focus back again. Another example of this is a workplace which is full of pressure, and you know what it's like if your skill or capacity is below the level of the challenge. It leads to anxiety, uneasiness, and even strain. If the challenge is way below your skills, it leads to boredom, and if it's well balanced, at a point you get a flow focused state.
It
And
sound
what does
right,
it
boy.
mean by being flow focused? What it means is that if you want focus and flow, you need to increase the challenge to meet your abilities. And if the challenge is beyond your abilities, the environment is putting way too much pressure on your abilities than you can deliver. So you need to break it down into smaller chunks or tasks and deal with it one at a time, bit by bit, in a time manageable way. Creating a unified flow experience. Having achieved flow in one activity as described earlier does not necessarily guarantee that it will be carried over into the rest of your life. All life must be turned into a unified flow experience. As Mihail Csikszentmihalyi in his book Flow mentions, if a person sets out to achieve a difficult enough goal from which all other goals logically follow, and if he or she invests all energy in developing skills to reach that goal, then actions and feelings will be in harmony and the separate parts of life will fit together, and each activity will make sense in the present as well as in the view of the past and the future. It does not matter what the goal is. A goal can give meaning to a person's life if it provides clear objectives, clear rules for action, and a way to concentrate and become involved. Creating meaning involves bringing order to the contents of the mind by integrating one's actions into a unified flow experience. It is not enough to find a purpose. One must carry also through and meet its challenges. When an important goal is pursued with commitment and focus, and all the varied activities fit together into a unified flow experience, the result is harmony that is brought into consciousness. Purpose, resolution, and harmony unify life and give it meaning by transforming it into a seamless flow experience. Whoever achieves this state will really never lack anything else. A person whose consciousness is so ordered need not fear unexpected events. Every living moment then will make sense, and by and large, life will become enjoyable. Thanks a lot for listening to my video on focus. Please do let me know if you have any further questions regarding it and post them in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.